Welcome to your week ahead astrology forecast for November 24th through the 30th. So we have a couple of wonderful things happening in the sky right now, and I kind of like how they're all happening together. And we're gonna talk about it. The first, of course, is something that everybody is talking about, and that's a Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury often goes retrograde and during holiday season. And I always love that because it's like slow down your mind and open up your heart. And it doesn't mean shut your mind off or that everything gets kind of crazy with communications. It means take more time, go slower, have more patience with yourself and with others. Mercury retrograding is actually when you turn your intellect inward and you can get more introspective. And I always thought that was a beautiful accent to the holiday season because we tend to stay inside more. We tend to want to be more with the people that we already feel comfortable with. So maybe the people who don't need us to talk so much as they know us so well, they could just see by the way that we're carrying ourselves or how tired we are, that what we are feeling inside or what's going on inside, a sense of the unspoken words speaking so much. And since you tend to be around people during the holiday season that know you better, this is sort of the perfect time for it. Expressing your love through gift giving, through sharing, instead of maybe through words. A lot of people taking time off of work. So in a time when Mercury retrograde can, screw up emails, it can definitely screw up, technology platforms. But the fact that more of us we're slowing down on our workload, or we're taking more vacation time, so we're not worried about work at all. It's just like a wonderful, it's like the best season to have a Mercury retrograde in, because the things that Mercury retrograde can screw up aren't really front and center at this time. So I really always love it. I just think it's a reminder to slow down, to become more introspective and more internal and more personal and more heartfelt and less cranial and less intellectual and less verbal, but instead more thoughtful, right? So Mercury retrograde begins on the basically early morning, I think on the 26th, or late at night on the 25th. So it begins midweek, but we're already feeling the worst part of it because it's always that shadow period right before that is always the worst. Now, one thing that you guys need to know is that Mercury, as it goes into retrograde, is in opposition to Jupiter. So this would be sort of the discovery period of people speaking too much or over speaking or over promising or speaking too well of themselves, or in a sense of letting their heads get too big for themselves. And a lot of ways this could make people make mistakes or expose themselves in a way, right? So it's almost like, because Mercury is in Sagittarius, there is that sense of a deep knowing and a deep understanding and being more philosophical and being more curious and allowing yourself to, it's like a discovery period. More of a discovery period is really where you're going to grow and expand now. Where if you rush the process with that opposition to Jupiter, things can really fall apart and mess up. So it is definitely something to be aware of. But that's not all that's going on right now. Well, let me say this. Mercury is going in retrograde in Sagittarius 2. So say between birthdays December 1st and December 11th or 12th. You guys, especially around birthdays between like the 5th and the 9th, you guys are really going to be hit with this Mercury energy. So it's best for you to slow down. It's best for you to use this as a discovery period, as a period of curiosity, especially curiosity with what do I really feel inside myself, since it will be conjunct your natal sun. And this is a really important time for you to allow yourself to do that kind of internal self-discovery. to enable this energy of growth and expansion, or revealing where you haven't grown and you haven't expanded. That's what this Mercury retrograde is especially going to show, where you have not allowed yourself to grow or expand, where your mind and your mindset and old thoughts have really held you back. So this is going to be a lot of opportunity to do that kind of work on yourself. Now, Gemini's similar energy, your natal Gemini 2s. So if your birthdays are between, I would say, June 1st and June 11th or 12th, it would be you guys that are, your natal suns are conjunct to Jupiter. So there's an awesome energy of hot-headedness. There's an awesome energy of feeling larger than life about yourself. But that Mercury retrograde and things that start to be revealed or discovered, or the need for a deeper understanding, or the need to open your mind and be more open to new ideas, is what is going to trip you up if you don't slow down and give it that time that it needs, instead of just assuming that you already know everything. Just an FYI. Now, another thing that's happening this week that I really love is we have a grand trine in the sky all week, and it's a grand fire trine. So there is this energy of really settling into our passion and settling into the things that inspire us, and having an ease with knowing what inspires us. Just trust it, right? The sun is in Sagittarius in its opening degrees, so like the first 5 degrees of Sag. Mars is in Leo, first 5 degrees of Leo. And then we have the North Node in Aries, which is now, I think, at 6 or 5 degrees Aries. So this is a really good energy, because what it says is you're starting to find ease with the way that you need to grow and expand yourself, and the direction that you need to move in to have a future. What is your future? You're starting to settle into it and understand it and feel really good about it. Of course, this is especially going to affect those of you sun in Sagittarius, sun beginning Sagittarius season, those of you with birthdays November 22nd through November 31st, especially. Leo's is almost same date range, only in July instead of December. And Aries, same date range in, same date range in March. So there's that sense of the end, the first group of the end of the month before, right? So I think for Aries, it would be March, say 22nd or 23rd, right up until April 1st. So for you, for all of you guys especially, but I think for all of us, this really sets up a beautiful energy of, I want to move forward. I want to take more personal responsibility for my life. I want to take action in it. And I almost feel good doing it. I feel secure in doing it. I feel like I can do this. I can move forward. And yes, you can. There's that beautiful mentality in the air right now that wants us to grow, even if it means having to swallow a few jagged pills about how we've kept ourselves from growing. You know, follow back to the Mercury in opposition to Jupiter energy. How have our heads been so big that we have stopped wanting to listen or hear or explore other ways of doing things, other points of view or perspectives, right? And that will destabilize you now if you insist, people who insist on that mindset, that will start to break apart. We also have Venus in Capricorn, where she is a little less passionate, but also very much more serious and stable. And it's she's at 17 degrees Capricorn. She is now square to Lilith and Chiron. And Lilith and Chiron have been in opposition to each other for a while. And that's been stirring up, I think, a lot of problems that we have in ourselves of feeling I'm not worth it. And that could be what we're starting to feel, especially if you're like, especially if you're Capricorn 2s. This could also play into the other earth signs as well, because Venus will be trying to, say, Virgo 3s should also be trying to Taurus 2s. It's 2s, not 3s. So she'll be trying to Venus, Virgo 2s, and Taurus 2s. So that's really good. There's this energy of this easement of yourself, or a sense of sensuality, a sense of wanting to be more romantic. But since she in Capricorn is squaring off with Lilith and Chiron, there could be a lot of issues here that are being explored with not feeling good enough, or how not feeling good enough is getting in the way of what you really want, of a romantic situation that you really want to be in, of an opportunity of abundance that you really want to take, and yet you're struggling because you don't feel you deserve it. So these issues are going to come up, but because they're coming up in square form, this is really good because it'll allow us to be challenged and then meet the challenge and release the energy and be able to grow. Saturn is square to Jupiter. This is a longer transit, but I think it's challenging how we grow. It's challenging how we grow and expand by saying, you need to grow and expand right. You need to grow and expand with quality. You can't just grow and expand rapidly. You have to do it with quality, with assuredness, and with experience. And with this kind of temperament, I think a lot of wonderful energy can come into the world that is productive and reliable and expansive at the same time. But Saturn is also going to be, by the end of the week, square to the sun. Now, when Saturn gets square to the sun, there can now start to be these feelings of, I'm being held back, or how am I being restricted, or why do I have all these challenges? You could feel like you're butting heads with a lot of authority figures, or you're dealing with too much stress or pressure when it comes from the way things have always been. But it's also a sense of us confronting it. Now, this will be especially prominent in the Sun Sagittarius. This will be Sagittarius 2s by that point. And then Saturn is Pisces 2. I think it's actually an end of Sagittarius 1, not necessarily Sagittarius 2. So that would be more end of November Sagittarius birthdays that are really going to be affected by this. And then we definitely have Saturn in Pisces too, early Pisces too. So those would be those birthdays that are, March 1st through like the 5th, somewhere around there. This is where you're really gonna be challenged this week, is rules, laws, regulations, the way we've always done things, the way you've gotten comfortable in always doing things, clashing with what you're capable of, or what you feel inspired to do. And confronting that and facing it is going to teach you a lot about yourself and a lot about how to move forward. Now, Mars is still in opposition to Pluto, and it's pushing out. It won't be by the end of next week, but it's still right now, which means everything still has that underlying energy of hyper extreme, of taking things to the extreme, of being hyper reactionary and hyper reactionary, or taking things to the extreme, maybe being more emotional or defensive, or being more willing to use sort of martial action, like instead of using your head. Especially with Mercury retrograde, we could just take a lot more to the extreme, and our heads are more offline. So just know that now, that this is an energy that wants you to move forward. All of these energies now are asking you to move forward, but they're also saying, are you moving forward in the best way that has the most integrity? Not even that's the most intelligent, but that has the most integrity and will last and make the lasting impression. So it is better to go slow with everything right now, FYI. I love you guys. Tell me how the energy is impacting you, and do enjoy the extended readings. You can go to YouTube and watch the first part of the reading, or you could just watch this below because it's a standalone reading on its own. I have all 12 zodiac signs down below, and yeah, I don't know. Just enjoy the videos, and enjoy, if you're celebrating, enjoy your Thanksgiving. I love you guys. Bye.